Hello everyone, this is Andrew Knight at RICS. I head up the thought leadership in the RICS around our data and tech, and working with my colleague Sean, I run the tech partner program. And I'm really excited to have this first recording and session with one of our tech partners, Kreo Software, with Maksim Markevich and Roberta Pietrobelli. So let's move on to introductions.
Hi everyone. And thank you for joining us today. I'm Roberta Pietrobelli, the Chief Operating Officer at Kreo Software. Just a little bit more about me. I joined Kreo 2.5 years ago as part of the London team. It's been very exciting to go through all the development of our products from very early stages and to work on their commercialization. In terms of my background, it lies on business management. I started my career working on the financial sector and then moved on into the data analytics and consultancy path, working for other SaaS organizations.
My name is Maksim. I'm CTO and co-founder of Kreo Software Limited. So my background, actually, I came from industry, so I'm a structural engineer. I was working in a different, design companies and kind of engineering companies. So I was working mainly for reinforced concrete buildings and steel frames and stuff like that. And at some point, I just started to do automation around my routine. So I started to create a lot of plugins and stuff like that. This is how I kind of became CAD manager, BIM manager, product manager, etc., etc. And I just finally am here, and I really adore building concepts, automation related riddles, and I'm happy to create software for the industry. And yeah, that's it about me.
Great, thanks Maxime. So I know you've got some slides and some demos to show us, but before we perhaps go into that piece, tell us what drove the creation of the firm.
I think Robbie will explain. Right?
Thank you.
Yeah, I can start right away. So yeah, before we will present one of our products to you, it will be good to deep dive into like a little bit of Kreo Software, who we are and what do we do, and how our vision came about. So as you might already know, Kreo offers SaaS solutions for the construction industry. In terms of the timeline, Kreo was founded in 2016 by our CEO, Magomed. He hired the whole R&D team in Minsk in Belarus, and further to that, in 2018, he hired his business team in London, where Kreo is currently headquartered. In terms of the Kreo vision and how everything started, Kreo really began with the vision of improving and accelerating the pre-construction process. Kreo wanted to boost experts' productivity, creativity through machine intelligence, with the goal of transforming construction project collaboration, quantity takeoff, cost estimating, and the building concept automation at the feasibility stage. And here you can see some of the key milestones that really coincide with the launch of our main products. 2019 was the Kreo Plan launch. Last year, Kreo Modular and Kreo BIM Takeoff. And this year, our newest product, Kreo 2D Takeoff. So just to give you a little bit of an overview of our product portfolio. So our product portfolio currently consists of 3 main products, plus our enterprise or bespoke solutions. And as you can see here from this Venn diagram, the products are really split into 2 main categories. The quantification and cost estimation software, where 2D Takeoff stands, and the design configuration software, where you can find our building concept automation solutions. And as you can see here from this color legend, our products really range from 100% self-service to highly bespoke solutions, which require further customizations from our technical team. And these highly bespoke products are what we define our enterprise solutions, as opposed to our fully self-service products like Kreo 2D Takeoff that are our subscription-based platform. So To summarize, from a quantity takeoff perspective, we really offer two main solutions, so Kreo 2D takeoff and BIM takeoff. And as the name suggests, so they're both quantity takeoff platforms, one for 2D drawings and one for BIM-based takeoffs. And Maksim will walk you through all the technical details of 2D takeoff, which is our newest release. But just to explain a little bit further to you that Kreo 2D Takeoff is easily accessible through our website as a subscription-based platform. It's cloud-based and AI-powered. So I will leave Maksim to take you through all the technical details of 2D Takeoff.
Thanks, Roberta. Obviously, I'm keen to understand how you've used AI to explain the value that's brought, Maksim.
Yeah, I will start from that. As Robbie mentioned, it's right. So Kreo 2D Takeoff, it's a fast and easy to use cloud construction takeoff software that saves kind of time and efforts for our customers. And basically, we use AI, we use kind of machine learning when we recognize PDF drawings. And it's just very important to understand it's not like it's not a Skynet, right? So we just basically use AI as an assistant for quantity surveyors, which can help them quicker and more accurately to calculate takeoffs. And basically, there is nothing hidden under the hood, so everything is kind of visual, and people always, it's very crucial, so people always will able to validate the results of AI, because they are not 100% accurate. And this is why we build a proper flow where it can be done. Yeah. So I just wanted to mention basically that people shouldn't be afraid of that kind of.
No, that's a good point. Thank you.
Okay, so I will do a product demo. It will be a product solution. It will be a problem solution orientated demo. So basically, I will go through our product. Of course, I will not show you all of our tricks and all of our features, but I will kind of mention a problem, and I will show you how we basically solving this problem. Okay, so let's start. So this is our 2D Takeoff software. It's open in front of me, and as you know, the first thing you need to do when you create a project, you need to upload PDF, DWG, DXF, or other stuff, right? So let's just upload kind of any PDF floor plan, let's say this one, and let's just create a project before I will lead you through the problems we solve, okay? So I'm going to create a project, and yeah, it's created. And basically, as you see, we have a few parts of our software. So basically, we have online spreadsheet, we have PDF browser where we can see our PDF. We have a lot of settings where you can set up the view, how we can see this PDF. You have a measurements panel, you have a navigation panel, and you have a kind of a helping panel where you can find such things like chat with us, feature requests, and help center, and other things. So let's start from the first problem I would like to mention, and from the first kind of explanation how we help to solve this problem. And basically here I want to refer us to, lovely document NRM1, right? And as we all know, when quantity surveyor or cost estimator works, there are a bunch of different stages, which is kind of appropriate for specific design stages. For example, when you have a appraisal or design brief, order of cost estimates is suitable. When we have concept or design development or technical design phase, it's a formal cost plan 1, formal cost plan 2. When we have a pre-construction stuff, it's a formal cost plan 3 and BOQ and post-tender estimate. And so why I started to show this table is just because I really sure that keeping a consistent project story is a challenging exercise, right? So consistent project story, and it's not only about versions, it's also about how your project evolves, right? So when you get first floor plan and when you get really detailed MEP drawings, it's basically the same project, but it's just a different evolution step, and it's very crucial to keep this story consistent. And this is why our main point in the 2D Takeoff software that we build a very flexible solution which help you to organize your flow in the way you would like to organize it, right? So we just basically we wanted to create a very flexible user flow, and let me just explain how it achieved. And basically, let's start from the spreadsheet. As we all know, the final result of any kind of quantity surveyor job is to produce a few reports. And basically here we can allow you to create a lot of like a different frame depends on the way how you work. For example, everything can be started from a measurements, right? And the second step for our user can be produce an order of cost estimate, right? And after order of cost estimate, it can be a formal cost plan. I just will name it like a cost plan. So here we have a cost plan, and let's say we have a BOQ. So basically, as you see, I created kind of all possible phases for the project, right? And before I'll show you how we will go through these phases and how we will kind of cover the main points, I wanna start with kind of our cherry on cake, with our AI solution, which is called Automeasure, which help us actually to define quantities, to define rooms, spaces, walls, windows, and doors really quickly. And let's launch it. So I just basically, let me just open, as you see, we have this PDF, we have a different pages. I'll open all pages, and as you see, they are opened in my navigation. And here I always can, can rename it. For example, we have a ground plan, we have a we have a typical plan, and we have a third plan, for example, like this one. Okay. So, and I'm just basically, they are very similar, but let's launch our Automeasure on each one. For example, I'm going to launch it here. I'm going to go to this one, and I'm going to launch it here, and I'm going to go to the third one, and I'm going to launch it here. So yeah, it's done. We just need to wait a couple of seconds. Let me go back to ground plan or to typical plan, and let's just wait a bit. And while we're waiting, let's just start to create something, right? So as we know, when we're working with the order of cost estimate, we usually want to create kind of a RICS schedule or accommodation schedule. And I will show you how with a Kreo takeoff we can do it really quicker. As you see, the recognition worked. It worked on a typical floor plan. It worked on a ground plan, and finally it worked on its third plan. Okay, so let's see what can we do with that, right? Let's just, before we start, let's just create a very simple stupid structure which we would like to fill. Let's say in this particular project we have 4 levels, right? So ground level, which is 0, the first one, second one, the third one, and we just need to calculate a few metrics. For example, we want to calculate units, we want to calculate NIA, we want to calculate JIA, we want to calculate NIA to JIA, and basically we want to calculate circulation, just for example. Okay, so, and finally we will get the total calculations. And yeah, and let's see what we can do. So let's start probably from a ground plan, and let's see what Automeasure created for us. So we have a bunch of polygons, which looks like a really messy stuff, but here's a measurements panel, which actually help you to kind of to keep a little bit of order here. And let's just see what our Automeasure finds. I will start with the walls. I'm gonna isolate all walls. As you see, this is how walls were defined. So we see basically all walls. We can check living rooms. We can check corridors. We can check undefined stuff. As you see, there is a kind of a green zone. It wasn't defined. And we have openings. We have windows. And we have basically all these folders here. And let's say it's our 0 floor and we need to get number of units, which is super easy. We just need to find our, let's say we need to find our NIA. And as you see here, again, it's a machine learning. This is why we see a few mistakes. And we can open this folder and we can go through it. So we see the first flat, the second flat, the third flat, which is not really, it's just kind of artifact. We can easily remove it in one click. We can see the third flat, and we can see this area which appeared in flats, but it's not actually. This is why we're also removing it. So as you see, we quickly did this validation process, and we get our NIA as a 3 flats. And again, when we see some mistakes, like here, for example, we don't see this whole bathroom included in this flat. We need to fix that, and there are a bunch of ways to fix that. So first of all, we can basically, just to redraw a bit this stuff. So we can create additional polygon. Let me just show you. For example, we wanna create something, really here. So basically, we need the space to be included in our flat, and to do that, we'll just create another polygon. We can do it in a way, let's say like this one. There's just a lot of ways to do that. It can be like this one, it can be accurate, it doesn't really matter. So I'll choose this polygon, I'll choose another one, I'll combine them. I will not keep polygons, I'll apply, and it's done. So we fix this particular NIA. We just need to make sure that this particular NIA is in our proper folder, because we're gonna use it further. So basically we have this NIA, and we have it here. So we have our NIA, and we can easily move it in our table. Let me show you how to do that. So basically, I can choose all our polygons, and I can create a simple folder. And as you see here, we will see different flats, and we have a place where it's located. And basically, if we want to calculate the NIA, here we just basically need to summarize all these areas. So I need to create a sum and sum of these areas, and it's done. So the total NIA calculated. When I want to calculate units count, I just need to send the count in my cell. And when I need to calculate JIA, for example, I just need basically to find JIA here, and just to make sure that it's done properly. And again, let's say I see a few mistakes. For example, I don't want to include in JIA this particular zone. I can double click and I can start adjusting it. So basically I can remove a few points. As you see, I just basically removing points and make my JIA more appropriate. That's it, it's done. I can check this artifact. If I don't need it, I will remove it. And so basically we have JIA, as you see here, and I just can easily send an area into my folder. That's done. After that, if we need to calculate NIA to JIA, it's just, it's easy to do. Oops, sorry. Yeah, I just need to divide it. I just need to divide P2 on D2. Okay, it's done. And we need to find circulation. And basically, it's our corridor again. I just use what Automeasure gave me. And basically, I see this polygon. For example, I see that this one is not proper one. I just easily remove it. I can adjust this one, and I can change these points. I can add, let's say, here, if I want to be more accurate, I can add additional point, right? So I can add it straight here. Let me probably show you. Bear with me.
So I guess a key takeaway here is that the surveyor still needs their expertise and their judgment here, because the AI is helping them get to a percentage of the story, and then you need that judgment, that real world expertise to correct those assumptions that the AI engine has made.
Yeah, exactly. And let's say we need to calculate circulation, and I'm just gonna find our corridor stuff, okay? And for example, it's just somewhere here. If I have some unusual stuff, or if I need to validate something, I can easily do that. So as you previously saw. And after that, I just basically, what I need to do, I just need to choose my area, I just need to send area in the circulation folder. And it's already, if corridor contains a few polygons, it will be taken into account. Okay, and of course we can do the same for the first floor, second floor, third floor, and we can calculate all the NIA, JIA, and all this stuff will be linked to our measurements. Let's just summarize a bit what's been told. Okay, so Automeasure, as you see, nothing really dangerous with machine learning, and it's just help quantity surveyors to avoid a lot of repetitive operations and just to get the quantities quicker, and just to make it better, quicker, and more accurately. And if something goes wrong, you just always can validate it or create a new polygons or a new measurements. It's easy and transparent. And also, for example, if you did a mistake with a scale as a user, as a quantity surveyor, and let's say it's not 1 to 50, it's 1 to 100, you can always change it. And all our measurements, all our calculations, everything will be changed because it's all linked from measurements to spreadsheet to panel of measurements. Okay, so that was the first point, and let's probably go further. Let's say we have order of cost estimate, and we did our usual calculations. We got a RIA schedule, and now we need to calculate some kind of order of cost estimate. And again, how we can do that pretty easily. For example, we have a superstructure. We have a 2.1, which is our frame, right? So upper floors and roof. So basically 2.2, 2.3. And so here, you have a group or element name, right? So, and you have cost of square meter of JIA, for example, and you have a basically total cost in pounds, and you have a, let's say for frame it's a 50, 40, 30, and basically here we can just calculate total cost multiplying 50 pounds per square meter by our JIA, right? And so we can easily calculate cost. We can easily link our order of cost estimate to our measurements menu. And if we even go further, I just want to show you a few manual measurements and other things to work with. Let's go to typical flow, for example. I will not work with Automeasure. I'll show how things can be done manually. If we go to the cost plan, and let's say we want to calculate fit out for bathroom, let's say for this specific bathroom, and let's go to this bathroom, this particular one, and we will build a simple cost plan for this fit out. We will have a bathroom, we will have a quantity, we will have unit, rate, and total, very usual structure, and we will have floor finishes, and we will have screed, for example, included. We will have tiling, and we will have skirting, right? So, and basically, as you see, when you use online spreadsheet or when you use Excel-like environment, you can be really flexible with your structure. And it kind of related to another problem we solve, because this problem, which is called, structuring reports to different customers, is always, take a lot of time, and it's always kind of customized, and this is a big problem. And but here we can be really flexible, and we can build whatever we want. For example, let's measure some stuff around our bathroom. So I just choose a usual polygon, and so here I can draw my bathroom. So let's say we're gonna put this point, this one, this one. So we calculated polygon. After that, we can do whatever we want with this polygon. It's quite flexible, so we can copy and paste it. For example, we can choose it, We can move it here. As you see, I want to separate my bathroom from my tiling, basically from my screed. To do that, I need to choose these two polygons. I need to, you know, deduct them. For example, I will choose this one and I subtract, and I will keep my polygons, apply. And as you see, I created a new one, and I still have this one. I can remove it. So I have the initial one. I can choose again everything, and I can deduct stuff again. This is my basic. I will keep polygons. And as you see, I just created a lot of fun operations, but actually I get this area and I get this area. And for example, when I would calculate floor finishes, you know, for example, screed, which is a square meter, and I will basically, what I need to do, I just need to choose this area, right? So I just choose this area and I choose another area, which is under bathroom, underneath, and I can get my screed area, right? But when I need to choose a tiling, you know, I just need to choose only area which is not underneath of my bathroom. So basically I can send only this area, and it's also square meters, right? And for the skirting, I need just to choose only these walls, but I don't need to draw anything in addition. I can just choose my polygon at additional point, and after that, I can easily just simply select measurements I need. For example, I need this size, and I need only this size. And as you see, software automatically summarize all these things, and we get a length, like a meter length for skirting. And this is basically here, I wanted to show that, you know, basically we allow our users to not have any flow, to build their own story, measurements, order of cost estimate, formal cost plan, whatever you want, link all these things together, right? And even create a BOQ if necessary. Okay. Andrew, maybe do you have any questions about what I'm talking?
No, I think that's been very illuminating, and I think for me it's that theme that I know we've discussed around using technology and AI not to replace the QS role, but to augment how they work, the productivity, to recognise that AI, when I say it makes mistakes, but it clearly will get you 80% of the way, 90% of the way, depending on the kind of drawings it's looking at, but that there's always that human element of looking at the real world and making those adjustments and having that kind of flexibility to still cast the professional eye, because as you know better than I do, AI has its limits. It'll misinterpret some data and that sort of thing. I guess what I'm interested for you to explain is we obviously saw a reference to NRM earlier. I'm interested to know how you support, as you say, specific formats for clients, but how you support things like NRM and SMM7 and those kind of cost layouts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So basically, we currently with our 2D takeoff solution, we support only NRM1 and okay. NRM2. So we basically, when we define all our polygons and all our spaces from Automeasure, we use kind of rules of measurements from NRM, right? So all our NIA, GIA, flats and stuff like that calculated in accordance with that rules. And also, when we actually had a look in the NRM, again, I already said it, but I just want to mention it once again. You know, it's like you need to have this project story. You need to have these versions. You need to have simultaneously order of cost estimate, and later on, client will send you more detailed drawings, and you will put a cost plan. And during after tender stage, you will produce a BOQ. And you know, we just wanted to build a flow in which user is capable to keep everything together, like a big story of his project in accordance with a kind of industry best practices and industry standards. Okay, so if it's clear, I will go to another problem we are solving with our data. Yeah, and this is problem measurement schedules mistakes problem, you know, which is actually happening because of repetitive and boring tasks, right? Because of the same report is being prepared in a few days, right? So for example, when you worked yesterday and you come back here today and you just don't really remember what was done, what wasn't done. And you basically need to do all this mapping from measurements to report manually. And of course, you need to measure the same things on a different pages, and it also creates a lot of problems. And usually quantity surveyors are customers who really work with the time restrictions and who really do a lot of changes because of different versions and stuff like that. And this is why I just would like to show you a few cases how we can help with all these things, right? So first of all, run scale. When we did our interviews, we realized that a lot of people were mentioning that a lot of mistakes occur because they just basically forgetting to change the scale and stuff like that. And this is why we actually build this kind of the flow where everything linked. We call it trace dependency. When your measurements, which link here, is actually, they're linked to the scale and they're linked to everything. So whatever you change, all the numbers immediately updated. Okay. So I just need to press apply and everything updated. Another point I would like to mention is, for example, happening with omissions. For example, let's just choose our windows. So we have a lot of windows here, right? And at some point we calculated our windows. Let's say here I have a count, right? So I have a count of our windows, and I did this kind of calculations yesterday. I've chosen probably a few windows like this one. I just connect my count here, and maybe I just finished my work and I went home and I came back to the next day and I don't really remember this. Then does it include everything or not? And this is why specifically for that purposes we build the filters which actually help you always define what is unscheduled and what is scheduled. So basically, if I press unscheduled button, which basically means that software will show us what was unscheduled, and you see two windows which we missed, and we can add these windows here, and right, so they disappeared just because the filter unscheduled is still active. I can choose a scheduled filter and I will see all my windows. Okay, does it make sense?
Yep.
Okay, another nuance with the same count. For example, we want to calculate doors or maybe something. Let's just make everything visible. Let's use our auto count function, which actually allow us to avoid repetitive tasks. So for example, here I'll hide everything. And let's calculate the doors with help of our auto search function. So basically, I want to search for the door. For example, this one. I can basically choose my door, right? So I just need to be quite accurate with it. So like this one, and I can press find geometry. And again, you don't need to click everything, right? Our algorithm will search for the all doors on your floor plan. And so you will be able to link these doors to this specific cell and to keep this data always connected to your report. So you connect the count, and after that you probably realize that you need to keep external doors separately, and you can see that it's a two doors, this one, and you may want to add it like this way, and at some point you will just have a double counting. But just because our measurements link to spreadsheet, you can just double click on items which you don't need, and this number is already updated. So it's also avoid users to create double counting. Okay, that was, let's say, the third problem we are solving. And the first problem and the last one, which I want to mention during this kind of demonstration, is coordinating the work between team members is really challenging exercise because, you know, different people, different spreadsheets, different plans. And this is why we were care about that a lot. And this is why in our 2D takeoff, we implemented the flow in which you have a specific teams or companies, and each team has access to your environment, and you can invite people to your environment, but also you can control which people have access to this specific project, and you can invite people to the specific project. You can have a meeting and you can kind of explain to each other the flow, how you want to work. Someone will work with a RIA schedule, someone will work with a substructure, cost plan, or elemental cost, and that's it. This is how we kind of solved coordination problems. Okay, I just don't want to spend more time on that and tricks. I just want to summarize 4 problems we are solving with our software. So the first one, keeping a consistent project story and version story is a challenging exercise. This is the first problem we solved. A second problem, measurements and schedules, mistakes with measurements and schedules, you know, they're very painful for the client. The third problem is a structuring report to customers and clients. It always has a change in requirements. And the first problem is coordinating the work between team is a huge problem also. Yeah. Basically, I would mention these 4 problems we are solving.
Well, that's great, Maksim, and that's been very interesting. And as ever, it's great to look at the technology not as an end in itself, but what it's doing to actually solve real problems in this particular sector. That's been really exciting, really interesting to see that. And as I probably mentioned at the beginning, this is the first of a series of videos and recordings we'll do with you. And I know that in the next one, we wanted to look at how you can also integrate with BIM models, because obviously we exist in a marketplace where some people are working with BIM, but many people, as we've seen, are still working off drawings. But you've obviously addressed both those kinds of challenges by being able to integrate with BIM and with 2D traditional drawings, haven't you?
Yes, I mean, currently we keep in separately these 2 products. So we basically have a BIM takeoff and we have a 2D takeoff. And we started with a BIM. We just realized that industry is not quite there, and BIM is growing and it's useful for our clients. But basically, this is why we developed 2D takeoff, because we just see, okay, people are still working on drawings, all contracts, they're still based on drawings, and we built 2D. But of course, our vision around takeoff, around quantity surveyors, we want to merge these 2 products and we want to build the best products, which is connected to, you know, to a specific classification systems and to a specific, let's say, industry best practices, as we have an RM1 and RM2 and stuff like that. We really appreciate such documents. Yeah.
And indeed, I think you also use some once again some power of AI in that BIM takeoff that we'll look at in the next session, won't we?
Yes, we will look, and we will show you how to classify quickly elements. I mean, in accordance with the NRM1 structure or NRM2 structure or any other classification system, how to quickly get this cost breakdown structure, and yeah, we'll show you. Yeah.
Great. Well, it's been really interesting, as I said, and thank you both for your time. And I look forward to working with you on our next episode of this series. So thanks, both of you.
Thank you very much.